Hey, how's it going? All right. Now, I did catch a couple of news clips the other night and was trying to figure out, okay, what propaganda is now coming out of the mouths of the Iraqi prime minister, because it's kind of silly right now. You know, hearing from one side, meaning the soldiers, then hearing what our president's saying, and now hearing the prime minister going off about, you know, if he had more weapons, you know, the insurgent attacks would stop because he'd have his security forces with better equipment. I thought they had equipment, you know, so what's going on? And yeah, where did all that stuff go? Especially from our part, when we took over, what did we do with all the equipment? So who's blowing smoke up whose ass? Because right now I look at it as, well, if you need the help, then you should have said something 2.5 years ago, because only thing I've heard is silence. And then now, you know, with more attacks happening and more people dying, now you want more weapons. That should have been the first priority to kind of secure Iraq. But looking at the propaganda from both angles, it's just getting to be an ugly mess. So now, as we're sitting here waiting on the Democrats to kind of come to an agreement within themselves to post to the president, well, the people don't want this to go on, and he's saying that he represents us and that we are supposed to have victory. Well, the victory should have come right after he said, okay, the invasion is over, now let's secure. It was secure for a bit. I understand that they have, you know, political things to go over, but why now to make this big push? Because right now we know the president's not going to be there after 2008, and then he's leaving a mess for somebody for 4 years after. And then if you know, kind of think about Nostradamus, well, 2012 is coming, what's going to happen? I don't know. So right now, while, you know, we're living our lives, what are you expecting? You know, kind of comment on this video in that way. Just, you know, make your peace within yourself. If you do support the troops and you do want to go over and fight, go for it. But just don't, you know, complain and just sit there. There are other people going to demonstrations trying to stop this again, because the not in our name statement of consciousness did not work, only because the actual petition made by the people wasn't given to Congress. If it was, then we might not be right where we're at right now. As far as Iraq itself, well, it's still going to be held up for years to come. So whether it's for oil or a couple other contract companies to go over and just, you know, rebuild, well, right now I look at it as it's not happening. I might have to redo that part because of a truck going by. Can't smoke in the house, so that's why I'm outside. But hey, I'm doing what I can, and hopefully this video will show that, you know, I care and I want others to care for their, you know, well-being and welfare.
U.S. and Iraqi troops have arrested the spokesman for Shiite cleric Muqtada al-Sadr, whose supporters are accused of running death squads. Al-Sadr loyalists call the raid an American provocation. Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki is faced with keeping a pledge to crack down on all militias regardless of sect, but he's also trying to maintain his political base among Sadr's followers. Meanwhile, the senior U.S. commander in Iraq says it's possible that some of the more than 21,000 additional troops President Bush orders to Iraq may return home by the summer. But General George Casey cautioned that at this point there's no way to tell how the U.S. security mission will work out. Casey spoke to reporters with Defense Secretary Robert Gates, whose visit to Iraq was his second since last month. U.S. and Iraqi forces are detaining one of Shiite cleric Muqtada al-Sadr's leading advisors. His supporters consider the arrest a provocation. NPR's Jamie Tarabay reports from Baghdad.
Sheikh Abdul Hadi al-Daraji is the head of Sadr's media office in Baghdad. In an early morning raid, U.S. and Iraqi forces entered a mosque in the eastern neighborhood of Baladiyat and captured Daraji. The US military said in a statement that a high-level leader of an illegal armed group had been captured, but didn't identify the person. It said it also detained 2 other suspects for questioning. Officials in Sadr's political office have condemned the arrest, saying it'll provoke a reaction from the Iraqi street. Prime Minister Nouri al-Maliki has in the past prevented action against Sadr and his militia because he derives much of his political support from the radical cleric. But he recently said that a new military offensive in Baghdad would target all militias, regardless of their sect and political affiliation.